Now let me ask you a question tonight. Who is the person in your life that you think it's impossible for them to be converted? I want to tell you something. It is impossible. It is as impossible for that person to be converted as it is for a 90-year-old barren woman to have a child. That's what God's saying to you when He calls every Christian Isaac. He says, yes, you'll laugh the laugh of unbelief because it's impossible for them to ever be converted. But what's He say? Is anything too difficult for the Lord? Specifically in connection with the conversion, supernatural birth of people. He wants you to lay hold of this. Is anything too difficult for the Lord? I'm telling you this, God says. I'm telling you, every time you see a Christian, just realize it. Realize it. You want to laugh the laugh of unbelief? You feel like that inside? This can never happen. It's gone on for so many years, Lord. It's impossible. Yes, it's impossible. But is anything too difficult for God? Beloved, we have every encouragement to ask God for the impossible. Well, how do I know I'm not asking God for too much? How do I know they're one of the elect? I mean, how do I know that I'm not presuming, and asking too much from God? We were talking about this in the student Bible study, and we got to looking at the Scriptures, and the thought occurred to me, I don't remember any time where God ever blamed them for expecting too much and hoping too much and believing too much. It was the other way around. Oh, ye of little faith, why would you doubt? Why didn't you strike the ground more? You got a child that is impossible to be converted? Don't just ask God to save them. Ask God to give them a Christian wife or a Christian husband and make them a minister of the gospel or a woman out on the mission field. He's able. You see, Satan wants us to laugh the laugh of unbelief. You see that a number of times in the Bible. Here's Ahab after he killed Naboth. Elijah came to him. He says, where the dogs lick the blood of Naboth, they're going to lick your blood. He said that to Ahab. Time went by. Ahab goes up to Ramoth Gilead, wants to attack it. The prophet Micaiah says, if you go out there, you're going to die in battle. Well, Ahab looks at it. He says, look, I'd rather trust old Elijah. I know he's right. He said, my blood's going to be licked 30 miles from here. There's no way this guy can be right. They can't both be right. It's impossible. I'm going out into battle. And a certain man draws a bow at a venture, and it just happens to strike between the joints of the armor, and he pulls off to the side and bleeds to death in that chariot. He died like Micaiah said. And they take the chariot 30 miles back to Samaria to bury him, and they wash the blood out by that pool in Samaria. Just like Elijah said would happen. That's the way it is with God. You laugh the laugh of unbelief, God's going to have the last laugh. We're used to this. We know what Paul was like as an apostle. You look at that Saul. Going down the road, breathing out threatenings and slaughter, hating Christians. Holding Stephen's garments. Well, can you imagine what it looks like to see somebody stoned to death? Holding Stephen's garments while they stone him to death. If you had told a first century Christian, you say, that guy is going to be one of the greatest lovers of Jesus who ever lived. He's going to write most of the New Testament that you don't even know. They would have laughed. If I had told the families of many of you sitting here tonight, if I'd come to them a year ago or 2 years ago and said, you know what he's going to be doing? He's going to be attending this conference. He's going to be a Christian singing praises to God, attending this. He's going to be free from drugs, free from alcohol, free from addiction to pornography. All of those things are going to be true, and he's going to be sitting in a Christian meeting. I know of some atheists here. They were atheists 6 months or a year ago or 2 years ago, and they're here tonight singing praises to God. If you had told your family that, they would have laughed. If I had told you that, you would have laughed. It's impossible. You say, well, my salvation wasn't impossible, then you're not a Christian. To see the face of somebody that a few weeks before was a child of the devil, and their face is radiant with the joy of the Lord. I mean, that is a reward that is unspeakable. Oh, we are so saturated with unbelief. I am so saturated with unbelief. What more can he say than to you, he had said? What more can he do for us? I mean, we've seen we're just like the children of Israel in some ways. We see one miracle after another, and the next day you feel like nothing's ever happened in your life. Every Christian is an emblem of the fact that God is more powerful than all the forces of hell.